A warm welcome to all our viewers. I'm your host Pratiksha Mishra and you're watching another episode of South Asia Focus. Let's begin the show. Amid rising global tensions, from Iran to Israel to Russia, Ukraine, India's diplomacy took center stage. Prime Minister Modi's landmark five-nation tour across Africa, the Caribbean, and South America showcased New Delhi's growing global footprint. From a powerful pitch at the BRICS summit in Brazil to a decisive presence at the Quad summit in Washington, India emerged as a key player in conflict resolution, climate action, and global trade. We have a report.
As global power dynamics shift, India is stepping up as a voice for the global south, championing a fairer, more inclusive world order. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's historic five-nation tour spanning Ghana, Trinidad and Tobago, Argentina, Brazil and Namibia underscored India's growing diplomatic clout. In Ghana, he addressed the national parliament, calling for credible reforms in global governance and spotlighting today's most pressing challenges.
World order created after the Second World War is changing fast. The revolution in technology, the rise of the global south, and shifting demographics are contributing to its pace and scale. The world is also facing new and complex crises such as climate change, pandemics, terrorism, and cybersecurity. The changing circumstances demand credible and effective reforms.
At the heart of Prime Minister's tour was his impactful participation in the 17th BRICS Leaders Summit in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. His presence reaffirmed India's pivotal role within BRICS and its rising influence in reshaping global governance. With a strong push for inclusive and representative reforms, India continues to amplify the voice of the developing world on the global stage.
The concern of the BRICS countries, because BRICS in some sense, represent global south countries, a multipolarity in its strongest terms, because there is a diversity in the BRICS countries. So this was one of the ideas. Now what are they looking for? Countries are looking for alternatives. Interoperability payment is a faster mechanism in terms of being able to do cross-border trading. And this is a low-cost solution. India has been successfully implemented it, and we are also entering into bilateral arrangements with many countries.
India's deepening ties with Brazil, the host nation, further echoed this vision. The growing momentum in bilateral exchanges lays the groundwork for a robust, long-term strategic partnership.
In less than 2 years, we had 72 missions business missions from Brazil to India, and I think 40 plus from India to Brazil, and all focusing on trade, investment, and technology. So the critical mass to boost the relation is there, and there is the political will also to keep that relation moving to another stage, another level.
Prime Minister Modi's tour concluded on a high note, cementing India's rising stature on the world stage and its steadfast commitment to building a more inclusive, just, and balanced global order. In a world of shifting alliances and rising regional stakes, the 10th Quad Foreign Ministers meeting in Washington, D.C. saw India take a bold stand for a free, open, and inclusive Indo-Pacific.
The world must display zero tolerance.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar outlined India's strategic priorities, from maritime security and economic development to critical mineral cooperation, as the country prepares to host the next Quad Leaders Summit. Dr. Jaishankar firmly asserted India's right to protect its citizens and called for a global zero-tolerance policy on terrorism. On the sidelines of the Quad meeting, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar held crucial bilateral talks with his counterparts from the US, Australia and Japan. These discussions deepened strategic cooperation and underscored a strong convergence on Indo-Pacific priorities and shared global challenges. As India takes center stage, bridging continents, fortifying multilateral alliances, and deepening strategic cooperation, its diplomacy reflects not just ambition, but a profound sense of global responsibility. From BRICS to the Quad, the message is clear and consistent. India is reshaping the future of international engagement with vision, partnership, and unwavering resolve.
For decades, Pakistan has projected itself as a custodian of the so-called Kashmir cause on international platforms. But behind that rhetoric lies a stark contrast, one of administrative neglect and development failure. In Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, local voices are growing louder against the systemic apathy of Islamabad-backed authorities. A case in point, the scenic Dala Kacheli region. Nestled in the lush hills of Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, Dana Kacheli is rich in natural beauty and agricultural promise. But what could be a thriving tourist destination remains trapped in underdevelopment. The roads leading to the area are crumbling, drinking water is scarce, and basic infrastructure is virtually non-existent. Locals blame years of neglect by the Pakistan-backed administration, which has failed to invest in even the most essential services.
मैं मुद्दत बाद इस इलाके पे मैंने सफ़र किया। छतर क्लास से लेकर डना पहुंचने तक मुझे बहुत तकलीफ़ महसूस हुई कि सड़क की इंतहाई खस्ता हालत है और जो है वो सड़क की तरफ ऐसे लगता है जैसे 35 साल से किसी ने तवज्जो नहीं दी और ये सड़क पता नहीं ये लोग कैसे सफ़र करते होंगे। खुद जनाब स्पीकर अगर तशरीफ़ लाते हैं तो वो कैसे तशरीफ़ लाते होंगे।
While Islamabad boasts about development projects elsewhere, residents here feel abandoned. Dana Kacheli's fertile land yields apples, saffron and other high-value crops but receives no support. Locals say this is part of a larger pattern, resource extraction without reinvestment. They argue that if even minimal attention were given, the region could thrive through tourism and agriculture. Instead, Islamabad's policies continue to marginalize the people of POJK.
मैं हुकूमत से तवक्को करता हूँ बिलखसूस स्पीकर कानून साज असम्बली से कि वो तमाम सियासी वाबस्तगियों से बाला-ए-ताक होकर इस खूबसूरत खित्ते की तरक्की के लिए अपना हिस्सा जो है वो अदा करके जाए।
Dana Kacheli's story is not unique. Across POJK, neglect, poor infrastructure and broken promises have become the norm. Residents say Pakistan continues to exploit the region's resources while ignoring its development needs. Despite all claims, the neglect of POJK's infrastructure, agriculture and tourism potential reflects Islamabad's ongoing disregard for its people. Time now for Asia This Week, the stories from across the continent.
Yamaha Motor celebrates 70th anniversary year and new company logo was introduced. For motorbike giant Yamaha Motor, 2025 is the anniversary year of 70 years after establishment. New company logo was introduced by President Motofumi Shitara.
70周年を迎えた本日から掲げられている新しい企業ロゴはヤマハ発動機の新たなスタートを象徴するものです。ロゴの中にある音差マークは私たちヤマハ発動機の重要なシンボルです。このマークは 楽器の調律に使われ音叉を3本組み合わせたもので、創業当初から製造販売技術の連携によってたくましく世界に羽ばたいていこうという意志が込められています。
Yamaha Motor was born from Music Instrument Company. Utilizing its engineering technology, trial to assemble motorbike has started. Based on the concept of 3 tuning forks, that is, 3 business elements, production, sales and engineering, Yamaha Motor will continue next and after next challenge. Bangladeshi garment factory owners voiced alarm after US President Donald Trump announced a 35% export tariff on Bangladeshi goods starting next month. The hike threatens the country's $40 billion RMG industry, which relies heavily on the US market. Several exporters said they were rushing shipments to meet deadlines before the tariff takes effect, warning of potential factory closures and job losses. Trump cited trade imbalance but left room for renegotiation. The move follows a previous 37% tariff in April, temporarily eased after Dhaka secured a 90-day grace period. The International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants for 2 Taliban leaders in Afghanistan, including Supreme Leader Hebatullah Akhundzada, accusing them of the persecution of women and girls. The ICC said there were reasonable grounds to believe that Akhundzada and Abdul Hakim Haqqani, Chief Justice of the Taliban, have committed the crime against humanity of persecution on gender grounds against girls, women, and other persons non-conforming with the Taliban's policy on gender, gender identity, or expression. Western diplomats say the Taliban's path towards wider international recognition is blocked until it changes course on women's rights. The Taliban has closed high schools and universities to girls and women and placed restrictions on their movement without a male guardian. It says it respects women's rights in line with its strict interpretation of Islamic law.
India has once again sounded the alarm on the threat of terrorism emanating from Afghanistan. At a recent United Nations Security Council meeting, New Delhi abstained from voting on a resolution concerning Afghanistan, citing deep concerns over the continued use of Afghan soil by internationally designated terrorist groups. The move reflects India's growing unease with the Taliban regime's failure to clamp down on terror networks that pose a regional and global threat.
For decades, Afghanistan has served as fertile ground for terror networks to regroup, rearm, and operate with impunity, posing a direct threat to regional peace. The return of the Taliban regime in 2021 only worsened the situation, as globally sanctioned groups like Al-Qaeda, ISIS-K, Lashkar-e-Taiba, and Jaish-e-Mohammed found a more permissive environment to expand their footprint. India's recent abstention from a United Nations Security Council resolution on Afghanistan stems from these unresolved threats. At the core of India's concern is the continued use of Afghan territory by these terrorist groups, many of whom operate with the logistical and financial backing of Pakistan's deep state. India's permanent representative to the UN, Ambassador Parvataneni Harish, announced New Delhi's decision to abstain from the UNSC vote, underscoring the security risks posed by terror outfits operating freely from Afghanistan.
India is closely monitoring the security situation in Afghanistan. The international community must direct its coordinated efforts towards ensuring that entities and individuals designated by the UN Security Council, the Al-Qaeda and their affiliates, ISIL and their affiliates, including Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed, along with their regional sponsors who facilitate their operations, no longer exploit Afghan territory for terrorist activities.
India's concerns are rooted in both past and present threats. Al-Qaeda thrived under Taliban protection in the 1990s, leading up to the 9/11 attacks. In the current landscape, ISIS Khorasan has staged deadly attacks across the region, including mass casualty strikes in Kabul, targeting mosques and foreign nationals. Meanwhile, Pakistan-backed groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed continue to be linked to terrorist plots using Afghan soil. The Taliban's return has reignited fears that Afghanistan is once again becoming a sanctuary for transnational terrorism. India has also expressed concern over the complicity of regional actors, especially Pakistan, in supporting these terror outfits. New Delhi holds Islamabad responsible for harboring and enabling groups that have carried out major attacks, including the 2008 Mumbai massacre and the 2019 Pulwama suicide bombing. Despite international pressure, Pakistan continues to provide logistical, financial, and ideological support to groups like LET and JEM, whose operatives often move with impunity across the Afghanistan-Pakistan border.
While we remain committed to continued engagement with all relevant stakeholders and broadly support the international community's efforts towards a stable, peaceful and prosperous Afghanistan, India has decided to abstain on this resolution.
India's abstention comes shortly after the April 22 terrorist attack in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir, which killed 26 civilians, an attack orchestrated by Lashkar-e-Taiba, a Pakistan-backed terror outfit. The Taliban's condemnation of the attack was welcomed by India, but New Delhi remains unconvinced by verbal reassurances. On the ground, reports from international agencies and independent monitors suggest that several UN-designated terror groups continue to operate training camps, safe houses, and recruitment networks within Afghanistan, with little resistance from the Taliban regime.
In conclusion, I would
India
like to
also highlighted recent diplomatic engagement between External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and Afghanistan's Acting Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi. The conversation underscored shared concerns over terrorism, with India welcoming Kabul's condemnation of the Pahalgam attack and urging vigilance against misinformation and the continued presence of terror sanctuaries.
On the political front, India's External Affairs Minister recently spoke with the Acting Foreign Minister of Afghanistan. We welcome the strong condemnation of the Pahalgam terrorist attack of 22nd April by the Afghan side. This conversation followed a meeting between India's Foreign Secretary and the Acting Foreign Minister, where both sides discussed various bilateral issues and regional developments.
India has a history of strong civil engagement with Afghanistan. Over 500 development projects across all provinces stand testament to India's commitment to Afghan reconstruction. However, New Delhi now faces a difficult balancing act, maintaining support for the Afghan people while confronting the reality that Afghan territory continues to serve as a base for cross-border terrorism.
The Indian film industry thrives on grand productions, with film sets playing a pivotal role by providing world-class infrastructure, versatile locations, and efficient shooting facilities. Among them, Ramoji Film City in Hyderabad stands out as the world's largest studio complex, renowned for its state-of-the-art amenities, diverse sets, and comprehensive production support, making it a cornerstone of cinematic excellence. Take a look. Action, fantasy, and larger-than-life sets. Welcome to Ramoji Film City, the world's largest film studio complex, where imagination takes the spotlight. Spread over 2,000 acres in Hyderabad, this cinematic wonder has hosted over 3,500 films from regional treasures to Bollywood blockbusters. From bustling streets to majestic palaces, every set transforms with the director's vision.
Welcome to the world's largest film studio complex, the Ramoji Film City.
Visitors can hop on vintage buses for guided tours where every laugh and gasp adds to the magic of this storytelling universe.
रामोजी फिल्म सिटी मुझे बहुत ही अच्छा लगा, बहुत ही ब्यूटीफुल इधर सेटअप है और सबसे ज़्यादा मुझे ये राजस्थान सेटअप ही लगा है। इसके साथ डांस करना मुझे बहुत ही अच्छा लगा। हाँ, मैं कहती हूँ कि एक बार तो ज़रूर इधर विजिट करना चाहिए, बहुत ही अच्छा है, मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा।
Ramoji Film City dazzles with its vast array of attractions. From lifelike airports and bustling train stations to quaint replicas of European streets. Here, you can witness heroes battling villains, experience high-octane police chases, and catch actors rehearsing scenes all under the director's watchful eye. It's a front row seat to the magic of filmmaking. Whether you are a curious first-timer or a returning fan, the wonder never fades. Families relive iconic movie moments and step into the shoes of their favorite characters, turning every visit into a cinematic adventure to remember.
This is our second time at Hyderabad, the Ramoji Film City. My family, my brother and his family are visiting us. So we just thought to, get them here to pay a quick visit. I've always loved their atmosphere here, the ambience and the way they maintain things. I think I've come after 3 years and things are still very well maintained. What attracted us the most is probably the dance performance and the Wild West. I think it's a thrill to watch how live action takes place and the kind of efforts that the actors put in. So it's always lovely to watch that.
From thrilling live-action scenes to vibrant performances, Ramoji offers an immersive cinematic experience like no other. Its crown jewel, the iconic Bahubali set, a majestic kingdom that once ruled the silver screen. The towering gates, grand statues and battlefield arenas that brought S.S. Rajamouli's epic to life still stands in all its glory, transporting visitors straight into the world of Maheshmati.
रामोजी फिल्म सिटी सबको आना चाहिए, एक बार तो कम से कम देखना चाहिए। बहुत अच्छा है, यहाँ पर आने से आपको पता चलेगा कि कैसे मूवीज़ बनते हैं, कैसे सेटअप बनते हैं। बहुत मेहनत भी होती है और जो है आपको स्क्रीन पे देखने में जितना मज़ा अपने को आता, यहाँ पर भी आके देखना चाहिए, वो लोग को पता चलेगा।
Ramoji Film City is more than a film studio. It's a timeless tribute to the magic of cinema. Here, dreams take shape from scripts and visitors step into a living, breathing reel of wonder. In Ramoji, fantasy feels real and reality fades away. A place where cinema is not just watched, it's truly experienced. With spaces that bring stories to life, film cities like Ramoji continue to power the magic of Indian cinema, one frame at a time. And with that, we come to the end of this week's episode. See you next week. Till then, goodbye and take care.